Adversity, grief, psychological trauma, these are sources of much suffering and pain. What can be good about this? People often ask this question during hard times. Until recently, we suffered from a pandemic that caused many deaths, unemployment, and a global economic downturn. And now we are worried about World War III, while Ukraine is already suffering from racism. In the face of such a tragedy, personal and collective, it may seem that the answer is there is nothing good about trauma. Scientists have been observing for decades people who have suffered various kinds of traumas, including violence, such as refugees and prisoners of war, as well as those who have survived accidents, natural disasters, and serious illnesses. Most of them faced anxiety and depression, but along with these negative emotions, there have been positive changes. Some of them developed post-traumatic stress disorder and found it difficult to function in everyday life. Others, more psychologically stable, returned to their usual state in which they were before trauma. But there was a third group. People who survived misery not only coped with the trauma, but came out of it renewed and stronger. This phenomenon is also called post-traumatic growth. Post-traumatic growth has 4 aspects. First, there are positive psychological changes that arise as a result of dealing with deep distress, personal crisis, or difficult circumstances. Second, it leads to a higher level of functioning and a higher quality of life. Third, it's a process of transformation, a new growth that wasn't there before the trauma happened. And the last aspect is that it results in better awareness of personal qualities and improved self-knowledge. And Nietzsche's well-known quote, "What doesn't kill me makes me stronger," is very appropriate in this case. How common is post-traumatic growth? The exact number is unknown. Researchers estimate that half to 2/3 of trauma survivors may experience post-traumatic growth. One study has found post-traumatic growth in 87% of women who were diagnosed with breast cancer 5 to 15 years earlier. Another study found a post-traumatic growth in 34% of tsunami victims. Studies have also shown that people who have experienced post-traumatic growth report changes or improvements in 5 areas of life. When we face adversity, we get hurt and the scars stay forever. But we can rise up from the storm of crisis more resilient than we ever imagined. People who go through post-traumatic growth become more grateful. Experiencing deep sorrow and heartache, they learn to appreciate what they used to take for granted: family, friends, and just life. This can lead to a change in priorities. Material things lose value, and small everyday things or personal relationships become more important. For example, people begin to spend more time doing what makes them happy, or they begin to appreciate nature more. Many of them are trying to do something for the local community or society in general. Their motivation to make the world a better place is growing. Tragedy does not always make us appreciate people in our lives. Psychological trauma can cause us to become cautious, having a lasting negative impact on our ability to trust others and build relationships. Many people who have experienced violence report that their faith in human kindness is being broken and that it's difficult for them to trust people. After the loss of a child, it's often more difficult for parents to get along with relatives and neighbors. Having lost a spouse, people are usually more likely to argue with friends and feel offended. But tragedy can also motivate people to develop new, deeper relationships. This is the second feature of post-traumatic growth. After heavy fighting and losses, soldiers begin to value life more and become closer to people who understand what they are feeling. They become true friends for life. And people who have survived cancer say they value family and friends much more than they did before the disease. They can also become more socially active and develop more empathy. They value their relationships more, so naturally they want to do their best to maintain and improve those relationships. The wisdom they have gained from traumatic experiences gives them the ability to make better choices when interacting with others. They can sympathize more deeply with others. The tragedy experienced together brings people together. They learn to trust each other, be dependent on each other, allow themselves to be vulnerable, and open their hearts. The third domain of post-traumatic growth is finding the meaning of life. It's based on the belief that one's own existence matters. A person has a purpose in life that enhances a sense of direction and purpose. According to Viktor Frankl, author of the famous book Man's Search for Meaning, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. The author of this book is a psychiatrist and professor who spent 3 years in inhuman conditions in concentration camps during World War II. His entire family, except his sisters, died. He emphasizes that evil and boredom cannot destroy us. However, having lost everything valuable, waiting for death, he managed to endure all this suffering, continue to value life, and invent survival strategies. Everyone needs to find out for themselves what the meaning of their life is. After all, man has freedom. It consists of choosing one's own approach to the existing circumstances. And if the person succeeds, he will grow despite the pain and humiliation. I encourage you to read this deeply emotional and motivating book. And if you already did, share your thoughts in the comments. When people experience traumatic events, it often raises a variety of existential questions. Many people find ways to grow in spirituality or religion. Traumatic experiences can strengthen faith. Some find God or change from one religion to another after a personal crisis. Others are becoming more active in their current religious community, choosing a new spiritual path, or abandoning their religion completely to start on their unique spiritual journey. People with strong spiritual beliefs show greater psychological resilience and post-traumatic growth. And it's not surprising that so many people who have experienced trauma are willing to help others overcome the difficulties they have faced. The fifth domain of post-traumatic growth is the discovery of new opportunities in life. Once old goals become useless or seem meaningless, people often look for new goals. This may be accompanied by a change of profession or increased social activity. People who have achieved post-traumatic growth are often more aware of the possibilities in each new experience. Because they have experienced something terrible and survived, it is easier for them to see what lies ahead without despair. There are ways to facilitate post-traumatic growth. If we realize that experiencing strong emotions during a personal crisis is perfectly normal, and that these feelings will change over time, It will be a guide in times of fear and despair. For the most part, people are not ready for change. It's extremely difficult for people to change their attitudes and behavior. Only when we're really stuck, this readiness for change increases. During hard times, you can learn to change something. In this sense, post-traumatic growth can be seen as a positive philosophy that accelerates and strengthens recovery. Since childhood, we have been told that in any difficult situation you need to be a strong person, overcoming all difficulties with a smile on your face. But the problem is that if we smile when we are very sad, we lose the opportunity to deal with emotions and get rid of the problem. Research shows that the ability to fully accept all emotions, even chaotic, unpleasant, and complex, is the basis of psychological resilience and success. In order to fully accept emotions, you need to be able to name them. Post-traumatic growth can only occur if you dare to accept all the experiences and painful lack of purpose in life. Expressing your emotions does not mean just talking about them in the third person. This means that if you are sad, admit it and cry. If you are overwhelmed with anger, be angry. If you find it difficult to express your emotions, you can learn this. When experiencing difficult emotions, try not to run away from them. Do not judge yourself, but explore. If you are sad, ask yourself, what does this sadness indicate? What really worries me? What can I learn from this? And don't forget that emotions, whatever they are, don't define you as a person. You are not a sad person. You are a person who feels sadness. You are not an evil person. You're just feeling angry now. Try to continue to focus on your strengths, talents, skills, and develop them. In difficult times, try to be kind and patient with yourself. Try to find time for everything that you like to do under normal circumstances. It can be taking a warm bath, listening to your favorite music, or walking. Think seriously if you could change your life for the better. Try to see the opportunities hidden in trouble. Change starts with small steps. For example, you may choose to pay more attention to your loved ones or appreciate your freedom more, which is currently lack. Or you may begin to respect your physical and personal limitations. Every night, ask yourself 3 questions. First, what have I done today I can be happy with, and what am I grateful for no matter what happens? Be thankful even for the small things. For example, I am grateful to myself for making a wonderful coffee today. It helped me cheer up and live that day. Don't forget that you're a unique person and experience something every day. Second question. What did someone around me do that I was grateful for? Do I thank this person? Thank the salesperson who joked and cheered you up, the author of the online article who inspired you and motivated you to do something. And third question is, what am I grateful for today? What do I still see, hear, feel, smell, and taste I am grateful for? Humor. It helps us be more resilient. Studies have found that surgical patients who watch comedies require 25% less painkillers. And soldiers who often joke cope better with stress. Couples who laugh together are less likely to divorce. Humor affects the physiology of our body by lowering heart rate and relaxing muscles. Humor has an evolutionary function. Namely, it is a signal that the situation is safe. Laughter relieves tension, making stressful situations less frightening. Humor can also bring about justice. If you look at the terrible situation and add a little humor to it, you will at least for a moment shift the balance of power. The helpless will become winners and the loser will have the last word. American filmmaker Mel Brooks said he was joking about Hitler and Nazis because if you can make people laugh at Hitler and tyrants in general, then you won the day. People often joke at funerals because humor helps us overcome grief. If you have experienced traumatic events, talk about your experience with your loved ones. Talking about painful things helps to release emotions, put thoughts into perspective and feel supported. Seek professional help if necessary. And first of all, remember that growth takes time and patience, and sometimes you will not see your progress until you look back and understand where you came from. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.